The final week of the 2020 regular season comes to a close tonight with a big one, a rematch of last year's district final. A little less than 9 miles and a heated rivalry is all that stands between the two best defenses in the SVL Red, and no better way to decide who will claim bragging rights and a league title than a cross-town showdown. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to DTV on our YouTube live stream and Charter Channel 191. Chris Jarrett back with Mason Polmantier on this Friday night, October 23rd, approaching the top of the 7 o'clock hour and approaching kickoff on senior night and the last week of the 2020 regular season. This one between the Davison Cardinals and the Lapeer Lightning. Mason, the last time you and I were here in the postseason play feels a little bit like that, though, in the final game of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Davison really left a sour taste in Lapeer's mouth. I mean, they notched that regular season win in the SVL championship, but they couldn't quite get past them in the playoffs. And they're back here tonight trying to get a win on their home field for their home fans and get another SVL championship.
This one might feel personal for Lapeer as it's senior night, the last night of the regular season. And then, as we had mentioned, the last time that these two teams had met was here in the postseason play. Cards and Lightning met twice last year, and they split the series. And the first one was a Week 9 matchup, senior night for the Cardinals last year. They said goodbye in their final home game to a really talented senior squad on October 25th. An overtime loss for the Cards, 24-21 the final. The Lightning with a game-winning field goal that settled that one. Really left a sour taste in the Cardinals' mouth, and boy did they respond on November 8th. And what a win. We were tied, actually, at halftime, Mason, the Cardinals and the Lightning in that district final game. But you and I were on that one. What a statement second half for the Cards, and they're trying to do that again to end the regular season here tonight. Yeah, and I mean, I remember last year Sullivan said that the defense won them that game. I mean, their secondary was just phenomenal. Had 3 interceptions, 2 of which turned into touchdowns. A little bit of a wind coming across here tonight from the west, right across from left to right on our field. And we're just a few moments from getting started between the Lightning and the Cardinals. I do believe that Lapeer won the toss and elected to kick to Davison, and that's how we will start tonight's ball game. Cardinals at the top of the SVL Red at 4-0 in the conference, 5-0 overall. The best defense in the SVL. They've only allowed 35 points to teams overall this season. Now, you do have to remember that comes with a little bit of an asterisk. The Cardinals didn't play Saginaw Heritage, but that's left to your imagination how many points the Cards would have allowed to Heritage. And then Lapeer sitting at 3-1 in the red, 3-2 overall with a loss to Grand Blanc. And then a tough one to Brother Rice. We're just a few moments from getting started here from Lapeer, Michigan.
Should be a good one. Lightning
in the home blue tops, blue pants, Cards in the all whites. This is exactly how we saw these two teams a little about a year ago, back in November 2019. Kick is off and away, right across the Lapeer midfield, and it's bopped by Carterman, tipped, and he'll just allow it to roll out of bounds. That won't be a penalty flag, but not terrible starting position for the Cardinals. Mason, the last time these two teams met, we said some names that we won't be saying tonight. A lot of significant playmakers on both sides of the football. But for the Cardinals, some big returners. Brendan Sullivan looking to continue this rivalry that he has against Lapeer.
Yeah, I mean, he's proved pretty successful so far with that playoff win last year and had a great game at home. Just couldn't quite finish it at the end of last regular season. And like you said, yeah, they're losing some seniors they had last year. Latrell Fordham and A.J. Terry were big standouts in this playoff game last year.
Yeah, so not as many receiving options for Sullivan. The Cardinals certainly feel like much more of a ground attack this year with a guy like Carter Kreideman, who we will likely see get really involved in this first drive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he had that big game against Grand Blanc that really just put him on the map, and he's just been tearing it up on the field this season.
Over 200 rushing yards for Kreideman in that game on the road against the Bobcats. Kreideman this year amassing for 450 yards in the Cardinals games played. He's averaging about 10 a carry. So a long delay from the kick to the first play of scrimmage, and we're finally just about set to officially begin this ball game. Sullivan in the backfield, Kreideman right next to him. He'll look to throw. Sullivan scrambling. Nice blocking by DeCooley in the backfield. The senior will let it fly downfield and just sails it into his sideline. Not a lot going on for the Cards there on first down.
Yeah, just kind of quite pick out a man there. He was forced to make a pass or run out of bounds there, and it looked like he just tried something, didn't quite work out for him.
Looked like Sullivan was trying to go on a little play fake to Jalen Flowers on the near sideline. And what a ball game. I think really the pinnacle of Jalen Flowers' season last year was, well, you remember the home game. He returned to the opening kick for a touchdown. And then last year for Jalen Flowers, the interception that he had to start the third quarter for the Cardinals where they in that second half outscored Lapeer 28-7. Sullivan throws, and it is caught by Flowers. Slips up across the 30-yard line, just a few yards short of the line to gain. Third down coming up for Davison on their opening drive.
Yeah, and it was raining quite a bit earlier today, and that wind still kicking up could affect this game.
You look up at the stadium lights, and it looks like a mist that you'd see in the produce section at the grocery store coming right across the field. Can't really feel it, but you'd think that the wind would affect this game. Maybe the Cards would keep it on the ground, but they've thrown it, Mason, the first 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, they connected on that one right there.
First 2 times, I should say. Here is third down and a yard to go. Cards will keep it on the ground and test the battle up front. Kreiderman with no room to breathe. And the Lightning stand tall on their opening drive to force an opening fourth down.
Yeah, just no room to get through there. I mean, it had potential to start with, but then they just kind of piled up, left him less and less options, and eventually he just had to take the hit and go down.
See how the Cardinals respond here on 4th and a yard to go. Jake Weingart's the head coach for the Cardinals, now in his 3rd season, likes to take risks, but Davison back near their own 30-yard line. Lightning crowding the line up front. 4 on the line, Sullivan testing the discipline and nobody flinching for the Lightning up front. Cardinal fans have come out strong in numbers tonight.
Yeah, they just about filled that visitor section up.
Kreiderman on 3rd and short, got to the line to gain before the Lightning pushed him back. So it's 4th and a yard to go as Sullivan walks up to the line. Play clock inside 10, now inside 5. Sullivan will give it. Kreiderman bouncing, and he's got the first down. Across the 40-yard line, and there's some life for the Davison sideline, the first big play for the Cardinals tonight. Didn't exactly happen immediately for Kreiderman Mason, but he got there eventually.
Yeah, I mean, right there they were testing the wits of that Lapeer defense, just trying to keep them on edge, make them think about everything that could go on there. And eventually they just got that ball over the first down marker. Cards
roll the dice on 4th and short after Lapeer stood tall on 3rd and short. And so a back and forth contest is how we start this ball game. Cards have it at their own 40, 1st and 10. Lapeer this time with 3 on the line, but threatening the edge. They do send the pressure. Sullivan rolling away, quick throw, and it's caught by Brown. Tries to stay on his feet, fights for the 45, and a nice catch for the senior, and even fought for a few after.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he tried to get a little bit better of a spot there, tried to shake off a defender or two, just ended up having them pile on him there.
Saw the pressure coming from the near side from the Lapeer defense, and Sullivan rolled right away, got a quick throw off.
Yeah, like these quick short passes are really paying off so far, getting them down the field slowly but surely.
Lightning playing the Cards tight. They've got their entire line in their box no more than 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and just the 2 safeties stacked over top. So 9 players for the Lightning defense, 5 yards or shorter. Sullivan, quick throw, caught by Brown, tries to fight to the inside again, and he's now across Lightning territory, across midfield, and that's enough for a Cardinal first down. Mason, we're seeing the box play tight, but the corners for Lapeer giving the Cardinal receivers a lot of room for Sullivan to throw it. He's doing it.
Yeah, and it's also, in the end, like once he catches the ball, giving them a lot of space inside to be able to get a couple extra yards like he just did there after that first down.
So the Cardinals facing some pressure on their first drive, but they've responded with it well. 8:40 to play in the first quarter. Again, not a home game, so we'll not have the luxury of the time for you on our score graphic, so we'll try to update you on the time as much as we can. Sullivan, a little dump to Kreiderman in the backfield. Makes the catch, but fighting for the line of scrimmage before slipping and falling. Not a big gain there on first down, as Kreiderman didn't really have too much room to move. Lightning defense pulls the chain to the near sideline. Mason, now that's the second time we've seen Kreiderman slip. You wonder how this turf is holding up with the rain and the wind that we had earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that it's not coming down now. Earlier, it was just downpouring. I know when we were setting up. Had to get the rain gear out really quick.
In the wind, too. We had the DTV setup. We had a tent up over our broadcast before the wind really threatened us and put our backs against the wall. We decided to take the tent down, and the rain stopped. Nice throw to Brown. Catch is made across the 35, still on his feet, inside the 30, and a nice pitch and catch. The Cardinals again, Mason, continuing to throw this football into the wind also, and continuing to move downfield on this first drive.
Yeah, and it looks to be Deion Brown, the go-to man for Sullivan right now.
He is testing that far sideline. They've thrown it once in the backfield to Kreiderman. There wasn't much going there. Cards have tried to run it Not a lot was going on. Last time in the first matchup, last year's game for senior night for the Cards, it was tied 7-7 at half. And then in the district final, it was tied 14-14 at half. Pitch and dropped right through the hands of Flowers. You could hear it, the contact on the gloves, and it skipped right out. You can likely credit that to, you still see the mist flowing right across the field. As not a lot is staying dry here in the first part of the ball game.
Yeah, I've never really seen anything like that. That kind of like mist just kind of setting in, getting everything like not soaking wet, but just enough to really make things a little more difficult here. And you can see right there that ball just bobbled out of his hands. I mean, if it's a hot sunny day in June, he's not dropping that catch.
Not likely. 2nd and 10. Cards stacking the formation a little bit more as the wind continues. Give up the middle, and it's Tavion Warren who is driven back and dropped for no gain on the play. Going to be 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, great defensive effort there by the lineman. I feel like as a running back, eventually you just got to take the hit and fall down so you don't lose as many yards. Great defensive effort there, though, by Lapeer.
That was Alante Littlejohn for the Lightning. And it results in a 3rd down and 10 for Davison on their opening drive. They've had pressure applied by the Lightning defense a couple different times. 4th and 1, they went for it, converted. Likely would think if there's a 4th down situation here into the wind, the Cards will go for it again. Just trying to take some chunk off of this distance to go. 3rd and 10, Sullivan looks to throw, in trouble. Steps up, and he'll go down. Sullivan sacked for the first time tonight. And this Lightning home crowd letting you know about it. It's going to result in a 4th down and long for the Cardinals on their first drive of the night.
I really don't think we've seen a team test the Cardinals offense quite like tonight. Lapeer just really just tacking away on that offense, trying to stop it any way they can. And it's proved pretty successful so far. Kept them out of the red zone.
We mentioned these were the 2 best teams in the SVL in terms of defensive production. Cards have only allowed a little over 890 yards in their contest. Lapeer not far behind. 4th and 14, Cards going for it. Lightning backing off, but they bring the pressure up front. Sullivan scrambling, thrown, incomplete. Warren was the intended receiver and was, I guess you could say, had a little bit of light. But Sam Soldensky, the man in coverage for the Lightning, didn't give Sullivan too much room to make that throw, and the Cardinals turned it over on their first drive. Mason, looked like that drive was moving well, but the Lightning, they stood tough in their own end and turned it over.
Yeah, and I mean, these fans are letting them know that keep it up. I mean, that defense is just relentless right now.
Cardinal defense, Lightning offense taking the field for the first time tonight. And we'll see how this matchup fares. You remember the big senior for the Lightning last year, Phoenix Dixon, was almost an unstoppable force in the first contest against the Cardinals. And you thought in the district final game how much he would weigh in and be a factor, and the Cardinals did a pretty good job of slowing the charge in the second half, and turnovers certainly played a big factor in that. 1st and 10 as everybody crowding the line of scrimmage. Bunched up formation, a loose snap, picked up and ran with. A couple yards there on 1st down, but not a lot as the Cardinal defense home for it. A little bit of a low snap, and Mason, that might not have been the intended play call.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he didn't expect it, and then he kind of just gave a glance to the rest of his teammates and just kind of ran with it. Just on the fly.
Cardinals with 1 regular season win on this field, and it came back in 2016. 28-7 win for the Cards when Tariq Reed, remember that name? 228 yards, 3 touchdowns he ran for, and it took 2 days to decide that one. 14-0, Cards led it at half, and severe conditions weather-wise closed the book on a Friday night contest, and we made it up Saturday in the middle of the day. And the Cardinals with 2 unanswered touchdowns to ice it after Lapeer made it 14-7, Cards with 2 unanswered to win that one. Another quarterback keeper up the middle, and maybe 1st down was the intended idea as the Lightning, no gives, just a little bit of a wildcat formation looks like. Man in the backfield takes it and runs right into the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, just sending him up and opening up a hole for him through the line, hoping to get some extra yards, but it hasn't proved too successful so far. Only gotten a couple so far.
This is not the offensive formation that the Lightning had in mind at the beginning of the season when Cardinal transfer Chandler Thrower came over, and just 5 of 12 for 59 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and Thrower on the sideline in a sling. And so the Lightning had to kind of go back to the drawing board and reconfigure how they would run things offensively this season. Done a pretty decent job since then, as it's been much more of a ground game.
Yeah, and I mean, they got Brady McKenna in the backfield ready to run it at a moment's notice.
Here's 3rd down and 6. It is McKenna trying to float to the near side. And a nice job as the Cardinals come to the football and they pull the chain, and nothing going as you saw Clark Hamilton, the senior, wearing that 35 number that Cardinal fans know so well, flowed right over and blew it up. 4th down coming up for Lapeer.
Yeah, great read there by the defense. McKenna did spin out of a tackle, but yeah, like I said, Hamilton's right there to make it.
Just enough to allow the rest of the Cards defense come on over and clean up the plays. Braden McKenna, first 2 times, went right up the middle, and right there trying to test the edge defensively on the Cards. Got stopped, couldn't break the 35. Line to gain is the 42, so this will be 4th and 7. 3 minutes to play in the first quarter, we're scoreless. McKenna is the man in the backfield. Lightning with 2 stacked up on the right side of the line of scrimmage. McKenna does take a step back. I think the Lightning flinched up front. You saw Mason Davison move as they signaled for Jalen Murray Flowers to back up. Did you see the back step that McKenna took? Looked like he was going to try to punt that ball.
Yeah, it looked like he was just going to get it out there as quick as possible. That call is going to go on Lapeer.
I think Lapeer tried to get the Cards to flinch up front. Davison didn't. And then McKenna took a step backwards. Cards turn for Murray Flowers to back up and field a punt. And that's when Lapeer flinched. So it moves the Lightning back 5. 4th down and now 12. 2:35 to play in the first quarter. Cards still play the line of scrimmage, and McKenna just got that punt away. It's going to bounce out of bounds. I'd call it right at midfield, maybe a couple inches back. Nope, they mark it right at the 50-yard line. And so great field position for the Cardinals to try to find the end zone or points in some way as they came up empty-handed on their first drive.
Yeah, I mean, not too far from where they turned the ball over. And if they can make the progress they did on their first drive, they could be in touchdown territory.
Thought that we'd be dry tonight as the forecast called for rain right on up until kick. And then nothing but clouds afterwards. But we've got a sustaining drizzle that hasn't stopped since kickoff, and it really begun right at kick. And it's kind of sustained, and it's drawn to some hoods to be pulled here and umbrellas to be popped. See how it affects our ball game.
It's definitely not good for my glasses.
Yeah, you have my sympathy. Sullivan dumps it over top. I don't think that Flowers was ready for it, and some miscommunication there on 1st down. You do see Harry Unger in a tight end spot, still wearing that number 10. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, and you think if Flowers got that pass right there, could have had them pretty close there to the 1st down marker, but just wasn't quite aware of the play call, it seemed like.
This is no longer a drizzle. I mean, this is rain at this point. It is raining, and we are outside.
Yep.
If you can't tell from the wind that we're picking up, our DTV crew is hard at work tonight. If you're back in that studio, enjoy.
I don't think I've ever been in the studio for a football game.
Builds character.
Absolutely.
Clock is stopped at 2:21 for 2nd and 10. Cards change the formation as Unger and Pizzala in motion now to the right side. They'll give to Warren. Flowing with the football, cracks midfield, but nothing much after that. And a 3rd down going to be coming up as passing is really out of, not in the cards for the Cards at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just pass game was successful first off compared to the ground game, but now it looks like Lapeer's starting to get a better handle on that pass game.
3rd down and 8 upcoming as we're inside 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And these conditions would slow any offense. And it's slowed Davison so far. Can't think that they would try to throw it. If it is, every catch is going to have to be made with your body. Sullivan gives it. Warren stays on his feet, bounces past the 40, lost the football, and hops on his own loose ball. And a flag does fly on the near sideline. And let's see what that brings us. Big gain by Warren. Unfortunately, it didn't result in a turnover for the Cards.
We didn't really see the Cardinals play in the rain too much last year, so it's really going to be a test on how they can do in the elements.
I don't think ever. I don't think we ever saw it. Certainly nothing like this.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had some cold nights, some snowy nights, but never the rain that we're having right now.
Everything will have to be two hands on the football. And officials timeout. I think both teams are going to head to their sidelines as the weather has really decreased since the start of this ball game.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to have to really simplify what you're doing to avoid any more drop passes, any more fumbles, anything of that nature.
Didn't get an explanation. Wow. Didn't get an explanation on the flag on the near sideline.
At this point, I'm just hoping an umbrella is not going to fly up and hit us.
Yeah. Boy, this is brutal. So the chains are now moving for a first down. Yes, down markers reset, and it's 1st and 10 with a $1:15 to play in the first quarter. Please mind the wind that's really whipping now. Carry for Jalen Flowers, nothing, loose football. And they're gonna say that Flowers was down at the 35. Lightning fans think it's a turnover, but they're gonna call Jalen Flowers down about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think I saw some contact on that play when he was on the ground and I saw his knees go down. I think that's a good call by the referees. Lapeer fans obviously don't, though.
They don't like it.
Not too happy about that one.
Loss of about 3 makes it 2nd and 13 for the Cards. Flowers and Brown are split out wide, but I think they're just strictly for a decoy's purpose. 25 seconds to play in the first quarter. Here's 2nd and 13. Flowers bouncing past the 25, and Jalen Flowers gets the Cards that much closer to a fresh set. They're going to mark him down at about the 26. 3rd down and maybe 4 coming up.
Yes, first quarter is about to come to a close, and both teams still scoreless. Not something we've seen last year.
Final seconds will tick off the clock, and we will come to a close in quarter number 1. Scoreless in week 6 between the Cards and the Lapeer, and that draws a nice round of applause from the Lightning fans. They like the sound of that. Cardinals, though, driving and threatening, and we'll go ahead and take a break from Lapeer, Michigan. Back after this with the start of the second quarter on DTV. We're back here to start the second quarter. Oh, this is tough.
It hasn't gotten any better.
No. Wind is whipping. Fresh 12 up on the clock, and after Jalen Flowers' run, it's a 3rd and a manageable 4 for the Cards. They keep it on the ground. Kreiderman bounces to the outside, now cuts it up. He's got a first down and more, dragged down right around the 10-yard line, and a big carry. You were wondering when it would happen, Mason, but finally a big gain there for Kreiderman to set the Cardinals up in a great position to try to find the end zone first.
Yeah, it took them a second to break through their that run defense by Lapeer, but they're starting to find some holes, get some distance on the ground here.
Looks like 1st and 10 right around the 14-yard line, or the 12-yard line. They mark it. Sullivan, he'll feed Kreiderman again. Keeps it on the ground, almost lost his footing. Boy, it's going to be a fight for the football on every single tackle. And you're going to have to hold on tight to that pigskin. Nice carry on first down to make it 2nd and about 6 coming up for the Cards, getting closer and closer to that goal line.
Yeah, I mean, 2 hands on the football at all times, like you said earlier. Not going to be able to pop out as many stiff arms as you would if you're a running back. You're just going to have to focus on getting to where you want to go as fast as you can.
Cards have tried it up the middle, and Warren is now in the backfield. He's had a nice carry on this drive to keep it alive. Two receivers split out wide, Sullivan and Warren in the backfield. Sullivan will give it to Warren, stays on his feet, finally loses his footing, but he does fight forward for a short gain, third down coming up.
Yeah, they're just inching towards that end zone. They want that so bad. And they're so close.
I think it's absolutely four down territory for the Cardinals in a short setting like this. If they turn it over, Lapeer would be pinned deep in their own end, and the Cardinals would have that really as an excuse to send the house on every play, but trying to find the end zone first.
Yeah, and I wonder if they do get into a fourth down situation, whether they look to the pass game or the run game, because up till now the run game's been a little bit inconsistent, so you wonder what's going to happen there.
3rd and 4 from the 6. Sullivan keeps it. Pressure, stays on his feet, lowers his shoulder. He's got the first down, and a flag flies around the goal line from the near sideline. And so the chains will hold where they are now. Let's see what this flag does. If it's against the Lightning, Sullivan did get the first down, but if it's against Davison, we'd redo 3rd and come on back. Does look like the Cards are moving in the wrong direction. As quiet as the stadium's been tonight.
Yeah, everyone's just awaiting that call because it could be the difference between a chance for a touchdown and a redo at 3rd down.
They're going to call it off.
Lapeer fans not happy about that one either.
Cards will have it 1st and goal, I believe. Sullivan certainly got enough. They do bring in the big man Will Watkins as Warren heads to the bench. The Cardinals going to the fridge formation. Did Sullivan not? He must not have gotten it. Nope, it's 4th and short. They didn't give Sullivan the first down. Looked like he got the line to gain, but it's going to be 4th and a matter of inches, and the Cards might just follow their blockers. Sullivan over the line of scrimmage, flowing up the middle. Looks like the pile moves across the goal line. It does. Touchdown Cardinals. The senior Sullivan with a 3-yard touchdown keeper, and the Cardinals muscle at home for the first touchdown tonight.
Yeah, that should get him warmed up on a cold rainy night, and Lapeer here get an easy score right there on the goal line. Now going to get that point in for PAT, and then just get their defense going too.
You hope that this stops at any at any moment. But if this continues, we will have big boy football tonight. Really just big on big up front, trusting your guys in the trench. Now here's going to be something interesting as well, as to see how the kick game goes for both teams, as the wind is really whipping from the Cardinals sideline, almost a diagonal. Everybody jumps up front. Let's see if it was the Lightning. And Mason, you might even entertain the idea of going for 2 if this moves the Cards closer. Just running the same thing you just did, really.
Yeah, I mean, plus on those kicks, it might be harder to connect on that ball with your foot. You might slip off or spin off.
So the Cards are switching their formations, and it looks like they might try to go for more points.
Yeah, I mean, if that call goes in their favor, why not go for 2? I mean, might as well.
Absolutely, but let's see what the Cards draw up. Now this is 4th and 1. You still got to. I mean, you are just about the same distance to that goal line as Sullivan does. Crowd over center, take the snap, follows the pile, and it flows across the goal line. Still waiting for a signal, but we're gonna get one, and there it is. 8-0, a second inside 10 minutes. 9:59 to play before halftime, and the Cardinals trusting their big guys in that matchup up front. It pays off. 8-0 Cards lead it.
Yeah, and based on how close this game has been, you wonder if the extra point's going to come in big later on in a tight game if we see another overtime performance like we did last year in the regular season.
I think the wideouts might have one of the easiest nights of the night in terms of trying to catch footballs if this continues, and it just might be ground game for both these teams. Let's see how that would fare out.
Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting.
Looks like in terms of the mist or the rain that we were getting, it's slowly continuing, but it's the wind that continues to be a problem.
Yeah. It's a chilly one, that's for sure.
the Cards lining up to boot it for the first time tonight after they find the end zone. Brendan Sullivan on 4th and 1 from the Lapeer 3. Kept it himself and followed his center. And the pile flowed across the goal line. How many times, Mason, has it felt like the Cards have faced pressure tonight? Sullivan's been sacked a time, but they trusted their defense. Lapeer to a quick 3 and out, and the Cardinals marched it down the field and scored.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't seen a defense like this in a good amount
Nice
of time.
kick. Into the wind and tipped into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. Boy, I think anyone can find the goal line when the wind is moving as it is. But a great kick by Hopkins to ensure no return for the Lightning. They'll have it right at their own 21st and 10. First time out, I should say the last time out, Mason, for this Davison defense. We kind of just touched on it, but did a great job of the matchup up the middle. And then on 3rd down and about 7, everybody flowed nicely to this near sideline and forced a 4th down, no gain. It looked like left and right they were moving pretty well.
Yeah, it's a pretty big stops. And even before the rain started to kick up, Lapeer was really working on the ground game, so it looks like they might just stick to that game plan.
So the Lightning offense coming back out, facing a touchdown deficit with 10 minutes to play before halftime. Braden McKenna, the man in the backfield. He was, wow, look at the line. Everybody loading up front for McKenna. Follows his blockers, no room, as the Lightning had looked like 9 guys minimum stacked up on the line, and the Cardinals matched it. No gain on 1st down.
Yeah, just all drawn to where the ball is going and take him down pretty easily. They were able to get around that big line that the Lapeer Lightning set up.
McKenna bent over as he's getting the play call on his own 15-yard line. Could be dangerous, though, if you play it that thin. No one's in the secondary behind you. No one's in the box behind you. So if you do go in a goal line to goal line formation setup, if McKenna slips past that first line, there's no one that's going to be able to track him down. Cardinals do loosen up a bit, but they do crowd up on the line. Pizzala roaming over top. He picks a side. Comes on over, tries to blow it up, forces McKenna inside, and he's tackled around the 25. Nice gain, but did not get the line to gain. 3rd down and short coming up. Great read by Pizzala. He came in and basically occupied the lead blocker up front for the Lightning and left McKenna all by himself. Turned him back in, and that's where the Cardinal defense was waiting for him.
Yeah, I saw him head over there just before the ball snapped and able to take out that lead blocker, like you said, and then once he's out of the equation, all you got to do is worry about McKenna.
Yep. That could have been a lot bigger for the Lightning if Pizzala didn't flow over there and crash as he did.
Yeah, good read by him.
Clock shows 3rd and 4 from the Lightning 26, and whistles going to stop it. Davison wants to take a timeout, their first of the half, and talk things over on 3rd down and short, and we'll take a break with both of these teams to warm up our hands. How's that sound? 3rd down and 4 coming up, 8:26 left to play in the 2nd quarter. We'll be back in just a moment. Back here for 3rd down and 4 from Lapeer, Michigan. Cardinals lead it 8-0. 8:26 to play before halftime. Chris Jared, Mason Polmantier with you as DTV in the elements for tonight's game. in the bleachers.
Yeah, pretty much.
McKenna will take it, flows to the near sideline, tries to cut back, but nothing going for the Lightning on 3rd down and short, and the Cards D stands tough again. 4th down and about 5 coming up for Lapeer.
Yeah, and I mean, Davison's pretty much picked up on the fact that they're just going to keep handing it off to McKenna, and now it's just less about trying to outplay the defense, the defense, and more about just trying to get those blockers up for him.
Cardinal defense has held Lapeer to nothing more than 10, 15 yards tonight at best through the first quarter, now here into the second. You think it was a 3 and out on the first drive, and now here a 4th and 5 on the second drive, the first and the second quarter for Lapeer. This is really the first time that we've been able to, for Cardinal fans, see a close game like this, as McKenna kind of looked like a silent snap, went right into his hands, and he was blown up in the backfield on 4th down and 5, and the Cardinals will have it in spectacular position to try to increase the score. I don't think McKenna he might not have been ready for it. It looked like he was just standing there, both hands set, and then before he knew it, he had the football.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just happy that he actually caught the ball with how wet it is and how much he wasn't really expecting it. You're just happy that it didn't turn into a turnover for a touchdown by chance. It does put Davison in some really good field position, though.
Incredible starting position. The Cardinals, aside from the opening drive, they started at the 50, and now they're starting at the Lightning 20, 1st and 10. Starting at the 50 resulted in a touchdown, as Sullivan now alone, 3 out to his right, man in motion to his left. It's Flowers. Senior will keep it. Quarterback Sullivan drawing up the middle, across the 15, still in bounds, cuts it back inside the 10, and he's down finally by the Lightning defense. But more than 10 yards, it's enough. About 13 for Sullivan to give the Cardinals a 1st and goal situation from about the 9 or 8 yard line.
Yeah, really just fought for every yard there. Had to beat that one defender in a foot race and then hop over the other one almost. Just like fall right over him and get that extra couple yards for a 1st down.
So now it's Flowers, Pizzala, Unger all to the left, split out wide for Sullivan. Brown and Warren to his right. Warren now in motion. Sullivan pulls it up the middle, lowers his shoulder, and he's still waiting, in for the Cardinal touchdown. 6:54 to play in the second quarter. A great quarterback read by the senior Sullivan, and he lowered his shoulder, powered it across the Lightning goal line.
Yeah, just a quick, efficient play fake there. Faked the handoff to Flowers and able to just run it through the middle himself. And he was met with a Lapeer blocker, but got right over him for that Cardinal touchdown.
That was not an intended pull. I mean, that was a straight read for Sullivan to make, as Warren was the man in motion. And Sullivan, looking at the defensive end on the far side, should say, of the line of scrimmage, was waiting for Warren. So Sullivan pulled it, slipped right on up the middle, and was able to lower his shoulder. That's a big body to try to bring down in these conditions, no less, should say. So the Cards lead it 14. Play clock down to 1. They got to snap it. They don't. Flags fly, and that's going to cost the Cardinals, as the extra point formation that we've seen the Cardinals be pulling out here the last couple weeks takes too long. At least right now it does. So that will make this a little bit trickier for Gabe Hopkins to try to drill through the uprights.
Yeah, you saw the one kind of give him a helping hand on that kickoff. You hope it does the same here.
Yes, certainly had the distance, but the accuracy might not have been there on the opening kickoff. But let's see how this football flies, as Ray Sturgill, the backup quarterback for the Cards, set to hold. Snap is down. It's a good one, and Hopkins drilled it. You feel the wind. It died down right at the right time, up and through, and the Cardinals leading it with 6:54 to play before halftime. 15-0 our score. And Davison really capitalizing on their starting position, their starting field position tonight. Mason, it's been paying off for them, and for Lapeer, it's been tough going offensively.
Yeah, I mean, both teams just some really good defense, just making every play more and more difficult. And I mean, as they get tired through this game and as it gets colder, they might just become harder and harder.
This is really going to introduce both teams to what the conditions can be like later as we finish the regular season tonight and we're set to start the playoffs next week. Postseason's going to feel like this. Postseason play is going to feel windy. It's going to feel cold, as we even might be playing the state final matchup outside. Nothing has been set yet in terms of a location for the 2020 MHSAA Football Championship location. And it might be outside for the first time in nearly 50 years. Split divisions back in the 70s were played at Waldo Stadium in Kalamazoo, where the Broncos of Western Michigan tee it off. And then at Kelly Short Stadium in Mount Pleasant. Of course, that was back in the AstroTurf, the neon green turf days. Hopkins set to boot it from the 40, and it's a short kick to the near sideline. This one never even landed in bounds, as the wind, you can likely assume, got a hold of it, got a good hold of it. And the penalty flag flies.
It's starting to kick up again.
It is starting to kick up again. Lightning have 2 drives tonight, and they failed to capitalize a first down on both of them. The Davison defense has been tough, as this not much of a passing offense to begin with for Lapeer, but they'd at least like the option to mix it in if they could. It feels like nobody is passing right now with winds like this.
You got the wind, you got the wetness caused by the rain factoring in. Not the greatest conditions for an air game.
So Braden McKenna, the man that stands as a quarterback at the 30-yard line. He'll take it. Hesitation, follows up the middle, and was almost free of the line of scrimmage and into the secondary, but the Cards drag him down right around the 40-yard line, and the Lightning have someone down around their own 35.
Yeah, McKenna was so close, just breaking through there. Just couldn't quite get past the Cardinal defensive line.
Looks like the junior Jack Metzger, if that's 67, is the one that's down. It is 57, Dustin Morrell, apologies. But it's 57 that's down for Lapeer as they're looking at a 2nd down and 4. Both teams pulled to their near sidelines. Clock is frozen at 6:43 to play in this first half. We'll go ahead and take a break with both of our teams as we've got an injury timeout from Lapeer. Cards lead it with a little under 7 minutes to play by 2 touchdowns. We'll be back in a moment. Back for 2nd down and 5 from Lapeer as McKenna looks to throw it over top. Physical play, and the Lightning want to hold, but they're not going to get it. Jalen Flowers Mason, the man that was there. That's a tough one. It looked like the ball was underthrown. It's really tough to call.
Yeah, and the contact looked pretty mutual there, too.
Yeah, it certainly looked both ways.
Lapeer fans not happy about that one either.
And look at Harry Unger.
And at that point, as a receiver, I feel like you might just have to try your best to pull away. Maybe he was held. We couldn't really tell from up here, but you might just want to. It looked like he tried to at the end, pull away and make the grab.
Do believe that's Mike Smith that wants an explanation. So here's 3rd down and 4. McKenna loses it, loose on the turf, scoops it up, lowers his shoulder past the 45-yard line, and what looked like would be a disastrous 3rd down and 5 results in the first down of the night for the Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, Bible snap turned into a 1st down. Some players would just dive right on it and stop the other team from getting it in any way possible, but then kind of decided to pick it back up and keep the play alive, and he ended up getting a 1st down off it, so it proved pretty successful.
So the Lightning have life here in the second quarter with 5:45 and rolling to play. They've got the line to gain, and they've got their first down of the evening. Got to credit McKenna there. Looked like it was loose on the ground, which it was, but scooped it up and made something out of what was nothing. 1st and 10 near midfield. Cards crowd the line of scrimmage. High snap for McKenna. He'll pull it, keeps it himself, and he's dragged down by the Undertaker at the 40-yard line. Harry slipped past everybody, and a big loss makes it 2nd and long.
Yeah, way to just stick with the play there, stick with your man and bring him down in the end. Looked like McKenna was about to break away, but Harry held tight and was able to bring him down.
Once you get locked up by 10, very few have escaped.
Yeah, absolutely.
And McKenna couldn't there. 2nd down, and the clock shows 14 to go. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Not the direction the Lightning want to move when they've been fighting tooth and nail for every yard, to gain tonight. 3 split out to the near sideline for McKenna. He is alone in the backfield. Movement up front.
Flags from all the referees there, look like.
I believe it will move the Lightning back even more. This will be 2nd and almost 20 after the penalty.
Yeah, not ideal after that tackle for loss from Unger.
That was Alante Littlejohn, the man in motion. Wouldn't be surprised if Lapeer tries to run the same exact formation that they were just in. Let's see. Yes. 3 split out to the right. You'll see Littlejohn, 28, in motion again. Nope, McKenna keeps it, follows his blockers up the middle, and is met almost immediately around the 37, 38-yard line. If any gain, maybe a yard, and 3rd down and long upcoming.
Yeah, and with that clock winding down, that's not what you want to see. You want to try and get the ball rolling here, get some points on the board before you head not into the locker room per se, but just over into your area for halftime.
Might see Lapeer try to unload, but the wind is not doing the Lightning any favors. It's been coming from the west, what feels like all night.
Yeah, and even before that, they weren't too keen on throwing the ball in the air anyways.
Cards sent a late man on, and it's Zach Papadakis as they open up their formation. Cards secondary, their safeties over top, backing up around the Cardinals' 45, which is the line to gain. McKenna, loose snap, gives it up the middle, and can't tell who the ball carrier is, but falling past the 40, lunging almost to the 45, and it's Alante Littlejohn. If it's not McKenna, so far we've seen it's mostly 28, which is Littlejohn, and it's 4th down upcoming.
Yeah, looks like he got tripped up breaking through the line there just before the line of scrimmage fell.
4th down and 12 with under 3 minutes to play before we stop for halftime. This game has moved quickly, almost an entire ground game by both teams.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps that clock running.
Clock rolls to 15 as the Lightning scrambling to try to get everybody on the same page. David Smith, the big man, to try to boot this football, but wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see something. But a timeout on 4th down and 12. The Lightning want to talk it over. They take their first time out of the half with 2:28 to play. It stops the clock for a 4th and long situation. We'll go ahead and step aside for a quick break. Back after Both teams back from the timeout. 4th down and 12, 2:28 to play. Let's see what the Lightning drew up. Smith, the man to punt. He just sneaks it away. This will bounce at the 35, roll past the 30, and out of bounds inside the Cardinal 30-yard line, where Davison will have it, 1st and 10. A lot of time, Mason, left before halftime. Cardinals almost this entire second quarter, and really everything since their first drive tonight has been on the ground. And let's see if they continue to test the Lightning up front.
Yeah, and I mean, they really kind of got brought to a standstill in that first drive on the ground. They didn't get much out of it, and they got stopped on that 4th down. And, I mean, from then they've seemed to find their way on the ground game, moving it really well compared to before.
That was the most life that we had seen from Lapeer in this first half. They got the first down, but they moved basically backwards after they got that first down, and it resulted in a 4th and long to punt it away. Sullivan will give it to Kreiderman with space, bounces it to the outside, the far sideline, across the 30, meets blockers. Wow, lowers his shoulder and fights for the 40-yard line. He'll be just shy, I believe. Let's see where they mark him. They give the senior a yard right at the end, and they'll say that was enough for a 1st down. Looked like Kreiderman would be done right past the 35, but that's what makes him different than other backs that we've seen this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, just when you have him stopped, he just finds a way to outmuscle you and get that extra yard or two. Just always fighting for another yard.
3 split out to the right for Sullivan. 2 to his left. He's alone in the backfield on 1st and 10. That clock moving, 140. Throws it over top and almost picked. Intended for Pizzala. That ball wasn't exactly on line, should say, but Devin Fuchs, the senior, was the Lightning defender that ball went right next to and wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, and I mean, if he did grab it, it would have been a difficult but pretty good grab, especially in these conditions. But just got to be there for that pass if you're a Cardinal, and if you're the Lightning, you just move on to the next play.
Cards stay in the empty formation. 1:38 left to play for 2nd and 10. Fake. Sullivan keeps it across the 40, 45, into the secondary. Look out, it's a foot race. Stops around the 30, cuts it back. Loose. Sullivan. Touchdown. A 62-yard scamper, but there's a flag all the way back at the 45. And let's see if this touchdown run will stand. The biggest play of the game so far might be coming back.
Yeah, and if you're a Cardinal, you really hate to see that play get called back. I mean, just great play by Sullivan, especially there when it looked like he was about to get taken down, able to pull that stutter step off and make his defender just a little bit, fall behind just a little bit for him to get that. Could be touchdown if this flag goes in their way.
Yeah, that's coming back. The biggest play from the senior quarterback that we've seen this season. It negates a 62-yard touchdown run. That's original.
Yeah.
Clock is stopped at 1:25, and this will be a 2nd down and about 3 yards to go. Line to gain is just shy of midfield at about the 48. And Cards want to take a timeout. The clock stops at 1:25. Davison taking their 2nd timeout of this half. And they look to try to keep this drive going after a penalty marker cancels a 60-plus yard touchdown run. And we'll go ahead and step aside for a short break. Cards lead it with a $1:25 to play before half from Lapeer, Michigan. Cards back from their timeout. 2nd and 3 at their own 45. 2 out for Sullivan. It is Flowers, the man in motion. Sullivan will give. Cut it up. The sophomore across the 45, loose. Rumbling past the 30, and Flowers is gone. Touchdown Davison, a 55-yard touchdown run for the sophomore Jalen Flowers.
Fantastic run there by him. I mean, what more can I say? Made the man miss. Able to get around another just with pure speed at the end there. Great touchdown run here by the Cardinals. After that one from Sully just got called back because of a hold now. Flowers making up for that. Plus the score 21-0 with just 1:12 left in the second.
You'll love to see that for a sophomore for the Cards in a ground game that's been so strong the last couple of years. It's continuing with an impressive run like that from Jalen Flowers. Puts the Cards up 3 scores pending the extra point. Hopkins drills it. 1:12 left to play in the second quarter, and Davison all over Lapeer here in the first half by 22 is our score. And the Lightning offense should say will be put back out on the field, trying to see if they can drum up some points before halftime.
Yeah, Davison's run game really just has been commendable these past couple years. I mean, you had Tariq Reed back in 2016, like you were talking about earlier. Then Caleb Smith came along for those past 2 years, and after his departure, Carter been following in his footsteps. Plus we got Warren, and now we got Flowers like we just saw there too. So we got just a great running core too this year.
And great to have too. I mean, with someone like Brendan Sullivan, a quarterback as incredible as he's been to have for the Cards that's come up through this program. What a statement it is that the run game is as strong as it is to take that pressure off your quarterback in the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Just have plenty of options here in the offensive end.
So the Cards offense don't take too long to strike. 62-yard touchdown run was called off, but then Jalen Flowers matches it with a 55-yard touchdown run of his own. I don't think Sullivan will hold it against him. Hopkins is going to boot this one, and again into the wind. Again gets all of it. Almost bounced through the back of the end zone as Hopkins with an electric kick. And that's going to pin the Lightning deep at their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. A little over a minute to play before halftime. Cards lead it by 3 scores, 22-0 our score.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely drilling them right now. And you'd think that they might be slipping off a little bit because how wet it is, but he's just connecting with everything.
It's been almost all ground game for the Cardinal offense. You got to commemorate the defense as well, holding the Lightning to just 1 first down in this first half so far. Let's see how Lapeer plays this. They've got 2 timeouts, Cards with 1. Lightning stack up the line. That's a new man in the backfield for Lapeer. Wow, nothing going as pressure met just past the 15-yard line for a loss. And it's going to be 2nd and long coming up.
Yeah, and if you're Lapeer, you got to be frustrated right now because the one tactic that they've really been able to utilize this game, the run game, just hasn't been working out so much.
Well, and so now they switch it up to a sophomore quarterback in Ethan Willis. Well, he was in, now out. And now it looks like the Lightning are bringing in McKenna, who has handled all of the quarterback responsibilities so far, but now it's the sophomore Willis at the quarterback spot. Lightning letting the clock roll for the final 30 seconds, 2nd and 14 coming up. Willis is joined by McKenna in the backfield. One option split out to the near sideline. Keep it on the ground again. McKenna tripped up past the 15, as that will be the last play of the first half. Inside the final 10 seconds. And this clock will dwindle all the way down to zeros. What a statement first half we've seen from the Cardinals. Couple big plays on both ends of the football. No turnovers by either team, but it's been all Cards in the ground game category so far. The defense has stood up tall as well. 3-score lead for Davison heading into the halftime.
Yeah, I mean, just a great show by Cardinals. Both teams had a slow start, but once the Cardinals got that first touchdown, just on that goal line, they just got the ball rolling there, and it's just been money for him since.
Mason and I will join you after halftime, but until then, a fresh 15 minutes put up on the clock, and the Lightning Marching Band getting set to take the field. 22-0, our score from Lapeer. We step aside and join you for the third quarter coming up in a few moments.
Drum majors, Anna Sauger and Ava Tackerberry. The field is yours for halftime performance. Renee Corbin. Christine Curry is represented by her parents, Tammy and Bart Curry. Michael Davis is represented by his mother, Donna Davis. Jack Davis is represented by his parents, Ron and Kathy Davis. Patrick Felton is represented by his aunt, Susan Norowski.
Are we using the highlights?
Roger Fleming is represented by his mother, Jessica Fleming, and cousin Ashley Murray. Brianna Furby is represented by her parents, Keith and Stephanie Furby. Joshua Kraling is represented by his parents,
back to Lapeer, Michigan, as both teams out of the locker room and a fresh 12 minutes put up on the clock, and we're set to begin the second half. Chris Jarrett, Mason Pullmantier with you on DTV, Charter Channel 191, and live on YouTube from Lapeer, Michigan. Mason, 22-0. It was all Cardinals there in the first half, and really all on the ground for the Davison offense. The Davison defense holding the Lightning to only 1 first down, and just across the board, you got to be impressed by what you've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, the Lapeer defense they had a good foothold to start their game off, but just kind of haven't been able to handle, lost their traction in that first quarter when they let that goal line touchdown in, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. Just slowly but surely let some more touchdowns through, and now we're here in the third quarter, 22-0.
Weather-wise, the rain had stopped and the wind was kind of subsiding, but it's picked back up because both teams have taken the field again, so it's picking back up.
Yep.
And so now we're going to see Gabe Hopkins tee one up again as the Cardinals, Lightning won the toss and kicked. And so now the Cardinals kicking to Lapeer and hoping that Davison defense can be just as stingy as they were in the first half. Hopkins drills it. This one flowing to the near sideline. It bounces at the 1 and rolls in. Not as far as we've seen him kick a ball tonight, but another solid touchback as Hopkins, how about that one for the brand? Drilled it right into the wind, and it carried all the way to the goal line.
Yeah, I mean, just been, like you said, just drilling them tonight, connecting with everyone really well, even despite the wet weather, the cold weather. The wind's been helping them out a lot, though, on those.
So out comes the Davison defense. They let the Lightning across midfield once. Just 1 first down for Lapeer. And that's right where the football was before the Lightning started to move in the wrong direction. Some penalties. So out come the Lightning. Let's see what adjustments they've made. 3 on the near sideline, and I believe it's McKenna, the man in the backfield. He'll try to throw, and it's going to be caught by Littlejohn. Hit at the 20, and no gain on the play as the Cards, everybody was stacked home. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, we haven't really seen McKenna throw it too much tonight, but looks out wide there for a quick short pass. Not quite able to get too much off of that one.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Lightning start to go towards formations and plays that the Cardinals, in terms of prepping for this team in the film room, have not seen yet this year. You trail 22-0. It's senior night for the Lightning here at home. Regular season closes tonight, and the Cardinals can lock up an SVL Red title with a win. But in terms of the Lightning, Mason, who have won it the last 2 years, they might be pulling it all out of the bag in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, anything to get that win for their seniors on senior night and keep that SVL championship streak running.
So McKenna will roll to his right to the strong side of the field, and he's hit hard, shy of the 30-yard line. 3rd down coming up, but a big gain there for the Lightning on 2nd and 10 to make that first down a little bit more manageable.
Hasn't quite been able to get too many positives out of his run game tonight. Usually just stopped after only getting like 1 or 2 yards, or not at all. Doesn't get negative, but like there and a couple other times tonight, we've seen him burst out for those couple big gains.
The senior number 5, Landon Kish, wrapped up McKenna and brought him down shy of the 30. And so it's 3rd and 1. And the Lightning might try to just stack it up short and see if they can convert and get a fresh set and keep their first drive of the second half rolling. McKenna alone in the backfield. 3 stacked up to the top sideline. Takes the snap, rolls off to his right, trying to break the 30-yard line. Cardinals drop him shy of the line to gain, and that's going to result in a 4th down. Mason Davison again stands up tall and turns the Lightning away.
Yeah, I mean, just some Cardinals defense here playing tonight by the Davison Cardinals. Haven't given the Lightning much to bite on, and continuing to do that here at the start of the second half.
Let's see what Lapeer elects to do on 4th down and 1 at their own 29-yard line. Cardinals had a similar situation on their first drive of the first half, converted on 4th and 1, and it was right around the same area. I believe it was at the 39-yard line. Lightning at their own 29-yard line. 4th and 1. 9:20 to play in the 3rd. McKenna trying to test the Cards up front. Nobody flinching. Tries it again. Tries it a third time, and flags fly. Let's see what happened. I thought that the Lightning had flinched up front. But this will be, well, it'll be a delay of game call by Lapeer. Looked like they were changing a formation, but they must have not realized that they were out of time to snap the football. That's the beautiful thing about this stadium with the turf field. They've got the play clocks up as well on the east and west end zones. So you can see it, but they must not have. So now this fourth down is much more trickier, 4th and 6, as opposed to a 4th and 1.
Yeah, it looked like they were just really trying to keep the Davidson defense on edge there, make them bite at one of those fakes, or just change the play ups to something that they aren't expecting, but weren't quite able to there, at least before the play clock ran out.
4th and 1 has turned into 4th and 6 at the Lightning 24-yard line. Play clock now down to 1, and this will likely be a timeout taken by Lapeer, as this is a disastrous turn on what was a 3rd and 1, now 4th and 1. Delay a game made at 4th and 6, and pending a second straight delay a game results in a Lightning timeout, and not likely how they want to spend those timeouts when they trail by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely not ideal. Not ideal of a start to the second half of your senior night when you're trying to pull things back. You're getting shut out. You're not getting too much positive gain on your drives, so you got to have something go your way at this point, and it just hasn't quite turned out to be that way for the Lapeer Lightning.
We close the regular season tonight. Cardinals at 5-0 this year in the category, and the Lightning at 4-1 overall and 3-2. As we will start postseason play next week with everybody making the playoffs in 2020 with an added district round. You'll play 3 games to decide your district champ, and then it's the same format there on out. Here's 4th and 6. Smith, the punter for the Lightning. He'll take it and gets the kickoff. Loose ball, and it was spotted by Warren. Thought he would just let that die, but fortunate that Warren could spot it right around midfield, and that's where the Cardinals will have it, 1st and 10. Mason, we talked about it in the first half. The starting field position for the Cards has been great all night. They've got another great starting spot around midfield for their first drive of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, just ideal to be as close to the end zone as they've started at this game, and I mean, not a bad starting position here at all for them.
So again, the Davison defense able to turn away the Lightning from gaining a first down. Lapeer with a 3 and out. They went for it they attempted to go for it on 4th and 1, but a penalty moved them back 5. A timeout before a second delay a game made them punt the football. 1st and 10, 3 receivers staggered to the near sideline for Sullivan. He'll look to throw, gets rid of it. A low ball that bounces off the turf at the 50-yard line as Brown thinks he caught it, but a penalty marker going to fly from the far sideline. This was, it seemed like well after the play, or right at the end of the play. So,
yeah, confused to what the call could have been.
Let's see. This was the official that had his back right at the Cardinal sideline. Didn't turn and address the Cardinal sideline, just flew the penalty marker, and the wind certainly got a hold of it, blew it all the way to the 50. This is a personal foul on the Cardinals on 1st and 10, so it will move them back, but this will be a 2nd down and long coming up.
You wonder if there must have just been some extra contact after the play that we didn't quite see from our angle.
We must not have. It didn't look like we saw anything, but certainly could have been there. Was looking at Brown, trying to catch the football. And so even if the senior had caught it, looked like a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty would have moved it back. So this is 2nd and very long coming up for the Cards. Let's see if they just keep it on the ground here. It certainly worked for them in the first half. 3 receivers on the near sideline, 1 up top. Kreiderman next to Sullivan in the backfield. Pitch to Kreiderman across the 35, finds a seam across the 45, back towards the original line of scrimmage, and this will be a 3rd down and about 10, maybe 11 coming up after a gain of 14 on 2nd down.
Yeah, makes up for the yards they lost off that last flag there, for sure.
Lightning trying to find life anywhere they can, as they have been reeling to try to get something going offensively. Not only all night, but the season as well, as they've been really banged up in the quarterback position. Now in their third string, and resulting in McKenna having to do all the quarterback duties coming into tonight. Sullivan throwing, unloaded, caught by Murray Flowers across midfield, across the 45, has the first down and more into Lightning territory before he's finally forced out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Cardinals throw it in tough conditions as it continues to be windy and misty, but a big conversion, Mason, for the Cards on 3rd and 11.
Yeah, and that's a spark that the Cardinals really needed on this drive. Really slow start to the second half for their offensive game. And now finding that big pass, getting some good yards, getting them just that much closer to the end zone could prove vital here in this drive.
Haven't really seen anything for Sullivan deeper than a 10-yard route. Everything's been about, inside 10 yards. That one right there, as Murray Flowers just ran across and set himself up in a good spot for his senior quarterback to find him. Great throw, great catch, too, as we mentioned. In these wet conditions, not as easy as it normally may be. I believe it's Pizzala and Brown to the near sideline. And two receivers out to the left. Sullivan gives it to Kreiderman, who fights to stay on his feet. Looks like the senior inside the 25-yard line, as he was met almost immediately, Mason, but fought for those extra yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's special about him. He's always fighting for those last couple yards. Whether he's going to be a first down or not, he's always just trying to get as much as he can on every play.
Cardinals with a win tonight would remain undefeated on the season, and in SVL Red League play, they'd secure the division title, and they would likely, you'd have to think, nothing's permanent yet, but you'd be paying attention to hosting a division round opener contest, and then going from there, a talented division for the Cards that they belong in. Sullivan will give it, and it's Flowers, cuts up past the 20, still on his feet, and finally dropped right at the 20-yard line. He'll be shy by about a yard. 3rd and 1 coming up, and a nice carry for the sophomore Jalen Flowers. Boy, what a carry he had in the first half, 55-yard touchdown. Talking about how impressive the rushing game has been for the Cards tonight, this season, and in the last couple years as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been really key part of their offense, especially here tonight in these wet conditions, and just like you said, in the past couple of years.
It will be huge. As we mentioned, these will likely be the conditions you can expect, if not as windy or as wet. This cold feeling. What a drop in the temperature we've had today. Is almost was flirting up near 70 degrees during the day, and it's completely dropped here as we are now at 8:30, under 50 degrees. Pass is caught by Brown right past his defender and outstretches the football past the goal line. Touchdown, Cardinals. A 20-yard strike from Sullivan to Brown, and it extends this Cardinal lead.
Yeah, just caught his defender off guard. These corners just aren't seeming to expect passes in these conditions, but it's working out for the Cardinals, and Deion's just able to get around his defender and run that one in the end zone for a quick 6.
Again, a short route, a quick pass from Sullivan. Give it to your receivers and put them in a position to make a play. Right there was Brown with just one defender near him. All you got to do is, the saying, make one man miss. That's exactly what Brown did to find the goal line. Loose snap. Sturgill has to scoop it up. Looking, rolling, lets it fly, and it's going to be caught by Unger for the 2-point conversion. That is the first time I've seen a Fire executed for the 2-point conversion. Sturgill had to scoop it up. He had enough time, and who else but Unger celebrates with Sullivan and his Cardinal sideline, as what is good gets better for the Cards after Sturgill, your backup, steps in and makes a play like that.
Yeah, I mean, great heads-up play from your backup quarterback there after that bobbled snap there. Just able to pick someone out in the end zone, and great heads-up play by the rest of the people out in the field, too, on the offensive end. Able to just spread out, give Sturgill some options, and he's able to unload and get the Cardinals some more points.
So Davison now with 2 2-point conversions tonight. One of them was planned and executed, and it was their first touchdown. when the Lightning moved up front, and it moved the Cardinals closer. They scored on a 3-yard touchdown run by Sullivan. He kept it, followed his center on a 4th and 1 from the 3. But not only did they get the 1 yard that they needed for the fresh set, Sullivan and the pile kept going past the goal line. And so then after the false start, they did the same exact thing. Sullivan followed his center for the 2-point conversion. That right there, not planned, but you do practice for it, and you see why.
Yeah, I mean, just got to be prepared for anything, especially against Lapeer, a team that's proved pretty formidable these past couple years.
This one is drilled by Hopkins, going to be spotted inside the 5, and a return being put on. Not much of one. A flag flies. Just looked like Kish got the jersey of the return man, but let's see what the penalty marker is.
Yeah, it looks like he got a handle on it, but flag's flying his direction.
Officials going to meet up as both teams head to their sideline. This penalty will tell a lot as to where Lapeer will start with this football.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle.
And so that will move the Lightning up and give them a better starting spot with 5:14 to play in the third quarter. Cardinals on their opening drive of the half march right down the field, and a 20-yard passing touchdown from Sullivan to Dion Brown Jr. Just looked like a little 5-yard curl and was able to move right past his defender who knew he was fried. McKenna will keep it, look out, trying to break past the line of scrimmage. That likely could have been a touchdown if he could have escaped the pocket. But the Cardinal defense able to keep him right there at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1, but that likely could have broken up a scoreless contest if McKenna could have shaken free.
So close to being a good play, though. He had nothing but field to look forward to if he hadn't gotten grabbed by that defender. Really good play there by the defense, able to bring him down just before he got loose.
Looks like it's Milenich over there, and so Luke with a big tackle to keep McKenna right put. And it was the senior, listed as a tight end and a linebacker. But the Cardinals have had to be reeling in different spots as Gabe Smith went down the first game, one of your big returners in the linebacker spot. 2nd and 9, another keeper. Again, almost free was McKenna, or that's not McKenna, but looked like the same exact play, a design give or pull.
Yeah, and it's so close to being good. It's just defense just keeps reading it right away, and they're just able to get there. But they're so close to pulling that one off and getting some big gains here.
And so that was Ethan Willis, the sophomore quarterback that we saw briefly in the first half for a few snaps, and now mainly taking the majority of the Lightning snaps. No gain on 2nd down. 3rd and 9 from the Lightning 34-yard line as the wind continues to dominate the playing conditions tonight. The sophomore Ethan Willis takes it, looks to throw, rolling, lets it fly over top, incomplete at the 50-yard line as Harry Unger was closing the gap quickly.
Yeah, just couldn't quite find any options there. Plus, you had the wind blowing, not your friend here when it's blowing against you like that and you're trying to make a pass.
So 4th down and 9, the Lightning will likely boot it away. Dion Brown out to receive, but I'd have to think a punt in this situation. If you field it, it's got to be on the ground. You can't try to field something in the air. Just let it bounce, let it roll when you're up 30.
Yeah, pretty much.
Smith to punt. Beautiful snap right in his grill, and this one will bounce at the 46 and roll. No return necessary as it rolls inside the 40. And the Cardinals in another good spot. I mean, they really haven't been tucked inside their 30, their 20 for sure in the second half. And you can only count on one hand how many times in the first half they were in that situation. The field position tonight has been great. You accredit that to your defense, forcing Lapeer to punt it deep in their own end almost every single drive.
Yeah, and I mean, every time they get into that red zone, they've been money tonight. Been pretty successful there in those goal line situations.
1 first down for the Lightning offense tonight. 3:16 to play in this third quarter. One more touchdown would be a running clock. It's Brown out on the near sideline. Little throw, caught by Flowers. Makes a man miss across the 40. Wrapped up and hit past the 45-yard line. A nice gain there of about 8 yards on first down. 2nd and short coming up for the Cardinals. Again, a quick little route. Sullivan almost, no time in the pocket. Gets rid of it quickly and let your receivers make a play.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if the defense is really warmed up enough in these cold conditions to be ready for some of the moves that these Davidson receivers are making. Just able to glide by them.
Lapeer as well, secondary-wise, has been giving the Cardinal receivers a lot of space. I mean, even right now, if you look, Jalen Murray Flowers up top has a lot of space to work with.
I don't know that they've been expecting the pass game too much, but I mean, Davidson's picking up on that. They're utilizing it to their advantage.
Sullivan throws, again, caught by Flowers. Murray Flowers across the 40 in the secondary. Foot race down the far sideline, and he's gone into the end zone for the Cardinal touchdown. Jalen Murray Flowers with enough space to make him pay, and the Cardinals again extend their lead. And they might pay for it, having a little too much fun in that end zone there. But that touchdown will stand. A 54-yard touchdown strike for the Cards.
Yeah, some big plays here in these cold conditions. In that foot race down the sideline, just able to project himself past the defender and get into the end zone. Brought down as he was going in, but still able to get over that line and get a Cardinal touchdown.
Jalen Murray Flowers plays very well on this field.
Yeah, we've seen that last year in that district's matchup, had that pick six, I believe. Key in their win against Lapeer to take them into the next round and then eventually to the state championship. And you see he's had a pretty good game here tonight too.
Davison, unsportsmanlike conduct that will be applied on the
That will be applied on the kickoff, so they won't move Hopkins back. He'll set up right at the 10 for this extra point. He's been perfect tonight. He's almost always been kicking with the wind at his back. That will change in the fourth quarter. It'll be interesting to see how the Cardinals' extra point conversions change in the fourth quarter. And the Lightning jump up front again. You see why the Cardinals, when they get set, everybody drops their hands. And that has made the Lightning jump more than once tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you're just catching them off guard there. And I mean, it's been working out in terms of their field position on these PATs. You're really able to just get the Lightning to jump at a lot of the stuff that they're trying to get them to bite at.
Clock is stopped at 2:13 in the third quarter. Cardinals have scored on both of their drives. In contrast, Mason, as we've talked about, it's been all running tonight. But here in the second, Cardinals have found success in the air. Hopkins' kick is up and good. 2:13 to play, and the Cardinals lead at 37-0 over the Lightning in the final week of the 2020 regular season.
Yeah, I mean, this one's really just gone by. I mean, obviously because only the 6 games, plus the Cards missed out on the one against Saginaw Heritage, but it's been a quick season, and we've seen more of the same from the Cardinals like last year, just dominance pretty much.
Well, we certainly haven't seen anything to this magnitude in this series so far. I know that the first meeting between these two was a decisive Lightning victory, that the only points the Cards scored was a safety. I believe it was 37-2, something to the tune of 4 or 5 score difference between the Lightning and the Cards, and that was in their first meeting, or in that first season when the Lapeer Lightning came into fruition. But since then, they've been a lot more close. But last year's district final and tonight, very rarely have we seen these two teams roll over and have success of that magnitude. Now, it wasn't last year's game, the score-wise certainly wasn't anything in contrast to what we've seen tonight. It was 42-21, so a 3-score difference. We've seen that between these two teams, but now a 37-0 game is certainly getting up there.
Yeah, and credit to Lapeer last year. It was close in the first half, tied at the half, but of course Davison ended up pulling away in that one. And this game just hasn't quite been the same for Lapeer. And you might credit that to the loss of Phoenix Dixon too. He really was just a do-it-all man for Lapeer last year, a jack of all trades for them.
But Brian Brown, too, a big receiver for the Lightning that gave LaBelle someone to throw to, but you lose all three. And it really takes your cogs out of your offense. And that's another penalty on the kickoff tonight. And they're in the same spot. Hopkins likes to keep it on this near sideline, but 3 times tonight they've run out of room. And so this will move the Lightning up. So they're not back on their own 20, but still a little over 2 minutes to be played in this quarter. I thought it was 35 is the running clock, but we haven't had a play of scrimmage since the touchdown that put the Cards over the line. So I believe it's just in downs that this clock would run. Both teams get huddled up here and are going to talk it over. I haven't seen a signal yet for a timeout being taken.
Yeah, no, not really any notification from the teams or the refs. You wonder if they're just taking this time when the refs are talking over this flag.
Now we do see our white hat signaling that the Cardinals have taken their first timeout of the half. Lapeer with 2 remaining as well, but as soon as that call has been made, the Cards defense leaking back out onto the field. So we'll talk playoff picture and implications here coming up in the 4th quarter. Hopefully a home game, which means a home DTV stream, which means replays, graphics, the whole works for your Cardinals in postseason play.
Yeah, not to mention a little bit warmer of a spot inside that press box.
No kidding. That is right.
The wind has been relentless this quarter.
It's been a while since the Cardinals have hosted a playoff game. Last year, every single playoff game played on the road. Would like to see that stat for the last time that a Division I team ended up winning the state final, playing every playoff game on the road. 1st and 10, nothing. Landon Kish and company in the backfield as Ethan Willis is dropped and the sophomore continues to feel the pressure of the Cards up front on defense.
I can't imagine what it's like just being a sophomore and taking on some of these Davison defenders. I mean, can you imagine being not even 16 yet and having the Undertaker coming at you?
Well, to throw you back a little, I know that when the Cards went all the way to the state semifinal and lost to Muskegon at Spartan Stadium, quarterback Jake Thompson, Jake the Snake, was a sophomore.
Oh, wow.
And that was he had a very impressive season. But no, it is not an easy task to, as you mentioned, barely, if you can, legally drive, to be at the helm of a varsity offense. Second and 12 at the Lightning 48. Cardinals scrambled to try to get everybody set. Willis up the middle, across midfield, but hit hard just past midfield. That was a big stick by Landon Kish. Thought that I also saw Bretton in there. Cards, one of the second options behind Carter Kreiderman. Likely could see him get some carries here as we close in on the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 9 and 40 seconds and rolling left on the 3rd quarter clock. Lightning will have to run one more play though, as the game clock now rolls to 30 seconds, but the play clock approaching 15. So let's see what the Lightning choose to do here on 3rd down and 9. Play clock to 5. Down to 2. Willis takes the snap, tries to throw over top. How was that not picked? It falls to the turf. And with a running clock, it will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Was broken up over top. And that's going to send us to the 4th and final quarter from Lapeer. 37-0 our score. Cardinals all over the Lightning in the regular season showdown. Back for the final quarter from Lapeer, Michigan after this break on DTV. Back to Lapeer, Michigan. 4th down and 9 coming up for the Lightning to begin the final quarter of play. Willis, a sophomore quarterback, pulls it, works up the middle, has a seam in the secondary. Look out. There he goes inside the 10 and down. He fumbled it. Nope, they're going to say that he was down. I think the contact brought him down at the 1. And the Lightning on the first play of the 4th quarter threatening to bust up the shutout.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a way to start it, but just a disappointing end to that run. Still, got to credit him for how quick he got out of that situation and almost had that defender beat into the end zone. Great run there by Willis.
And so the second first down of the night for the Lightning came on 4th down and 9.
Yep.
4th down and 9 for the sophomore, and got the gap he needed up front by his big men. We're going to talk about the pairings coming up for the Cards and for the Lightning as we approach district round action. Everybody making the postseason. And so the Cards and Lapeer in the same district will key you in on who else is in that district as Willis up the middle, lowers a shoulder into the end zone for the first touchdown of the night for the Lightning. There's the signal. Finally got it. And the shutout comes to a close for the Cardinal defense. And the Lightning finally find pay dirt.
Yeah, and you got to credit that Lapeer offense for coming back out onto the field as quick as they did, as fast as they did, and just as strong as they did there. Way to get a quick and easy 6 there in just 2 plays in the 4th quarter.
No Cardinal or Lightning team had ever been shut out, and that will continue tonight. The gap I was talking about was back in 2014 when the Cards fell 38-2. That is one of the most significant games. High snap, look out on the extra point conversion, and it'll be no good. And the score will stay 37-6. The running clock is now nullified. 10:48 to play in the 4th quarter, and we'll see if the Cards have a response after the Lightning, with their backs against the wall, come up with their first touchdown of the night.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're Davison, you're like, man, we really just got scored on like that quick. Want to get out there, maybe answer back, just to let them know that it's still your game.
Let's see if the Cards make any formation substitutions. Ray Sturgill taking warm-up snaps over on the far sideline. Breton Lum, another option that we've seen in situations like this to carry the football for the Cards. Lightning flag flies in Lapeer tonight as they bust up the shutout. Game 3 of the World Series underway tonight as the Tampa Bay Rays and Los Angeles Dodgers continue what's been a great series so far. Dodgers took the first game. Rays responded with a win of their own. And underway tonight, Dodgers lead it 1-0, top of the 3rd. What a shake-up professional sports has taken sports all across the board. As there was a time we were told we would not be playing football in the fall. Nice grab at about the 10-yard line by, I believe, Warren. Finds a seam up the middle. That's Jalen Murray Flowers, rather. Spun around, still on his feet, across the 40, fights for the 45. And an incredible, about 30-yard return for Jalen Murray Flowers, who continues to have an impressive night.
Yeah, I mean, conditions are starting to dry up, and it looks like they're able to make some more plays in the air now. And obviously, pretty good grab there out of the air by him, just over his head. He's able to get good 20, 30 yards off of that return right there.
Cards have scored on both of their drives in this second half, and they'll try to continue this trend here as they begin their first drive of this fourth quarter. Clock is stopped at 10:33. Both teams with 2 timeouts left. Davison set to begin this drive at the 45-yard line. That didn't work. As the wind got a hold of what looks like a hand warmer, blew it right back to the 35-yard line. And I believe it is Ray Sturgill in the backfield for the Cards. He will give it. Ball carrier taken to the 50-yard line. That is Bretton Lum. 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Cards. 40-second play clocks, Mason, that the Cards can, really just use. You see the entire huddle heading to the far sideline to get the play call, get on the same page. If you do it right, you can be back on the line of scrimmage with 15. Even we see here 20 seconds still left up on the play clock. So no reason to be in the Cards' normal, I don't exactly want to say hurry up, but normally in that situation where Sullivan takes the play call and everybody stays on the line of scrimmage where he issues it out. So you're 2nd and 5, another give. Sturgill likely could have pulled it, had a lot of room to play with, but the give again to Bretton Lum is good for no gain. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
This cold's starting to feel reminiscent of last year's Lapeer game. It's really cooled down.
No heaters for us this time, though. We had the heaters working overtime, cranking up top on the top of the press box. This is the first time that we've been set up in the stands, which is where we've been all night. And boy, it seems like the start of this ball game came such a long time ago. We set up the tent that the track and field team was nice enough to lend to us.
Yeah, it didn't turn out to be a good idea to do that on top of the bleachers.
Well, and the wind just come out of nowhere. At the start of the game, there was 0 wind.
Yeah, we had a man on each post holding it down.
Give is to Bretton Lum again as he fights past the 50, but is going to be shy of the line to gain. And so on 4th down and short, we'll see how the Cards elect to play this. You go for it, you're up 37-6, or if you punt the rock to try to pin the Lightning deep, as Sturgill gets the play call from Weingarts and will stay on the field. Weingarts, a Lapeer native, was the first Lapeer East grad to be the head man of the Eagles. 23 years old. Jake Weingarts was the head coach of the Lapeer East varsity squad after a successful stint at Wayne State. Just had 1 year of coaching experience. 4th and 3, flag flies, and let's see what it was, because it looked like the Lightning were trying to jump the snap. I'm not sure if somebody moved for the Cards. Will be movement on the Cardinal offense, and so now you might play this a little differently. See the formation come out. And here's the punt unit for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you're pinned back pretty far. There's no reason to really force anything here when you're pushed back just around your own territory late in the 4th quarter.
Clock rolling down to 7:40 as Gabe Hopkins not only kicks it, but out to boot it and to punt this football on 4th and 8 at the Cards' own 47-yard line. Play clock down to 10. Hopkins calls for it. Perfect snap. And the wind might get a hold of this one, Mason.
Very high kick.
That'll take a Lightning bounce. to the 45-yard line. So maybe 8 yards that the Cards hand over to the Lightning. Certainly had the height.
Yeah.
I mean, Hopkins let it hang in the sky, and that's likely where the wind pushed it all the way back right near midfield.
Yeah, and then just a couple unfortunate bounces pushed it back even farther.
So the Cardinal defense comes back out after forcing a 4th and 9. First play of the 4th quarter. Sophomore quarterback took it right on up the middle, and it was almost a touchdown for Ethan. Back out on the field to try to do the same as they busted up the shutout. 37-6 now our score as the clock stopped at 7:18. 1st and 10 Lightning. Willis hands it off. Bouncing to the outside and a hard hit shy of midfield. Good carry on 1st and 10. 2nd and short coming up.
Yeah, late in the 4th, starting to make some positive gains finally on the ground.
So we were talking about, or we at least teased, the Division I district pairings for the Cards and some heavy hitters that they're going to be matched up with in district play. Clarkston and Davison both right there in the top 10 in teams in the MHSAA this year. And so if that matchup happens, it will really be a good one. Grand Blanc, Lake Orion, Lapeer, Oxford, Rochester, and Rochester Adams round out that field.
Got some good squads in there.
2nd and 6. Willis keeps it himself, and he's hit at the 45 as he pulled it and tried to find some space. Nothing going. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Yes, some good teams there. Cardinals, of course, have already met Lapeer here tonight. Grand Blanc earlier in the season. And it's been a while since the Cards faced Clarkston. Wasn't postseason play. Would love to see Clarkston added to the normal rotation. A local team that, you know, a win would really set you ahead in the points department. A loss just gets you the experience nonetheless, but a team in the area that would love to see the Cards get a matchup for, and that would be a good one if we're treated to that one. Lake Orion, also a solid team. Here's 3rd down and 8. Lightning ball carrier hit shy of the 50, and so a 4th down going to be coming up as 5:35, the time left up on the clock, continues to roll.
And Oxford's a team not too long ago took Davison out of the playoffs in the 1st round.
They did.
In a pretty emphatic win.
That was when the Cards lost 3 of their final 4 games of the season, or 3 of their final 5, should say. Cards fell to De La Salle at home, the first matchup between the Pilots and the Cards in 2018, and then fell to Lapeer week 9. That was here at this field, and then fell to Oxford in the final season of Cannon Hall's career as a Cardinal, and what a quarterback he was for Davison. Just one of the many guys that set the stage for 2019. Here's 4th and 9. Willis will let this one fly, and it'll be picked by Papadakis at the 30. Little return being put on now across the 35 and into Lightning territory. Willis picked off, and the first turnover of the night, Mason, as we've had a clean game up until then. And another newcomer for the Cards, Zachary Papadakis, with the interception and a little return. Makes it 1st and 10 Cards in Lightning territory.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the Cardinals' defense, their secondary just tends to make big plays when they're on this great turf field. I mean, we saw in that district matchup last year, 3 interceptions in that game. And then this one, not many turnovers, but Papadakis snaps one late here in the 4th.
That will move the Cards back after the personal foul on the what looked like the return. And so what would have been marked in Lightning territory is now in Cards territory. At the 38-yard line, they give it for Davison with 4:39. Clock is stopped after the first turnover of the night. That was one of the deepest throws we've seen tonight. We really didn't see a lot for both teams. I mean, Sullivan never really even took a shot. We never really saw anyone unload. And I don't think Davison needed to. You know, when you look at it from the Cardinals' perspective, as the play clock dwindles down, Cards give it up the middle. Sturgill got rid of it. 2nd down coming up as tackle was made Clifton Orcutt took it to the 40, but more on it. You know, the Sullivan with his receivers, the corners played off a lot out wide, and you saw the touchdowns, you know, the touchdown Dion Brown had. Little curl route, caught it, made the man miss, and was gone. Jalen Flowers over on the far end of the field, just a little screen, had two guys block for him, catch it, and he was gone. So it's good to see the Cards understanding that even with the arm, how deep Sullivan can sling it. They just kept their throws short because that's where they had the most space, I guess to say exploit Lapeer defensively.
Yeah, just a good way to adapt to the way they played in the secondary tonight.
2nd and 8. Across the 45-yard line. Shy the line to gain, but again Orcutt with a carry for the Cards. 3rd down and a manageable 2 yards coming up as that down marker kept inching closer and closer. So yeah, looks like you can eyeball it as 2 yards to go for the Cards on 3rd and short here. Clock rolling, 3:20 and counting in the final quarter. Davison with touchdowns on their first 2 drives of the quarter, and then on of the half, should say, and then on drive number 3, found us here in the 4th. Brendan Sullivan taken out of the game for backup quarterback Ray Sturgill to get some reps. That's where it finds us now. Cards empty-handed on their 3rd drive here on their 4th. Nice throw by Sturgill. No catch was made, but put in a great spot. Cardinals look to try to throw it on 3rd and short. And so another punt situation coming up for the Cards.
Yeah, it looked like that ball just bobbled out of the receiver's hands. As you said, great throw there by Sturgill, just not quite able to land it perfectly in the hands of the receiver there. As the Cards are going to punt this one away.
Good to see the Cards put faith in Sturgill, let him throw it on 3rd and short. Running it would have kept the clock moving, and you likely think the way the drive was going, you could try to come up with 2 yards, but not really too important here as we're under 3 minutes to play in this ball game. Cards up by 21. Oh boy. Kick has been made by Hopkins. This one went further, certainly, but a bounce is going to put Lapeer right around their 30-yard line, but there's a penalty marker back, 2 penalty markers at the line of scrimmage.
And you wonder if it had anything to do with how quickly Lapeer broke through that line.
That's at the line of scrimmage and both around near where the football was at, so maybe a holding. And offsides would be where the officials were standing, so right around where the ball would be could maybe be a hold, or let's see what we've got. Something during the play.
Yeah.
The officials meet around midfield and give us the call. Illegal block, chop block on the Cards.
Chop block against Davison.
And so that will help Lapeer off in terms of starting position. We're in the time of uncertainty in terms of when Davison's next game will be. It's always that time of the year in week 9, normally week 6 here in 2020. As the Cards close the regular season, you'll likely know everything come Sunday in terms of where the Cards will be playing and what the bracket will look like coming up for Davison in terms of who they can meet and where in the 2020 postseason road to a championship.
Yeah, and I mean, with Davison Intercessor coming up, they give them that whole week just to focus on that big game coming up for them in their attempt to maybe repeat this year in the finals.
1st and 10, hit hard from behind as tackle was made by Milenich. Nice hit from behind. And a 2nd down and 11 going to be coming up after a loss on the play. But, of course, stay tuned to DTV's outlets. We'll be posting news as soon as we know it. Davison Football's Twitter account, or to Dave Beamer, always a trusted source on Facebook, to our Facebook fans. Find out who and where the Cards will be playing their district opener in 2020. Ethan Willis lowers the shoulder. Short gain, 3rd down and 9 coming up for the Lightning. Inside 2 minutes to play in the final quarter. What a up and down game it's been. It started off certainly neck and neck. This stadium had some juice in it. But the Cardinals really persistent at the line of scrimmage, felt like they won the battle up front. And only one turnover made, though. Pretty clean game played in that aspect. But this is a Lapeer team that has had guys go down in the quarterback spot. And Braden McKenna has been left to, at least coming into this game, handle all the quarterback responsibilities. Now we see Ethan Willis, a sophomore, doing the job down the final closing moments of this game. He'll keep the snap. This is a new ball carrier. Ball come out. Nope, they're going to say that quarterback was down. Looked like that ball was out. This is Colin O'Dean, a junior that looks like size-wise is a little bit bigger than Ethan Willis and a year older as well.
Yeah, it looked like that ball popped out at the end, like you said. Looks like they're going to call that dead before it came out.
And so what would have been the second turnover, what could have been the second turnover of the night, O'Dean was ruled down. And a 4th down and 11 with 30 seconds to play. Lightning will have to run a play here. And if the Cards spot it with time on the clock, they'll likely just take a knee. There's about 11 seconds that this play would have to take to end the game here. O'Dean takes it, lowers past the 50. And the clock stopped at 9 seconds. And the Cardinals will come out after Papadakis takes a tackle. And the Cards can send out the best formation, the victory formation, and kill off the rest of this clock in the 4th quarter.
I think the run game definitely made the game go a little faster, but certainly hasn't felt like it just because of this weather. It makes every second feel that much longer when you're standing out here with this wind pounding you.
Back-to-back Saginaw Valley League Red Division championship streak for Lapeer will come to a close tonight. They send out the senior Sullivan to do the job for the Cards. Sullivan will take to a knee. Seconds will tick away, and this score will stand 37-6, the final. The Cardinals are Saginaw Valley League Red Division champions in 2020 and end the regular season undefeated. 6-0 Cardinals heading into district round play next week. What a statement win tonight here in Lapeer, notoriously a destination where the Cardinals have not had much luck, but coming into this game, likely knowing the better team in the stat department, the personnel department, and in a night and in a game where the elements were really brutal, the Cardinals hung tough, and I'm really impressed by what we've seen from them here tonight to capture an SVL Red title.
Yeah, I mean, it did start slow for them, like we were saying, but they were persistent in that first quarter, and were able to get some points on the board, and it was just their game of football from there, like they always do play.
Got to be impressed by what you saw and from who you saw it by, as the Cardinals offensively did it in both departments. They ran the ball incredibly well, and it wasn't just Kreiderman tonight. We really didn't say his name a whole lot. There was a lot of other guys for the Cards that ran it. Sullivan even let it fly, and some touchdowns that were made, and a lot of them, too, after the catch.
Yeah,
Guys had to work for it, so offensively impressive.
Yeah, and that's what we've been talking about a lot this season. They just have a very diverse offense. They can rely on Sullivan to throw it, Dion to catch it, or they have their run game always at their use.
Defensively, too, some things to clean up, but, some flags, but you got to be impressed by what the Cards saw defensively in almost a run-only offense by the Lightning up to them.
Yeah, plus with the absence of the junior Dave Smith, 3-year varsity player.
Stay tuned. Cards matchup in the division district pairing will be released likely in the next couple of days. You'd likely think by Sunday, Monday, we will be knowing if the Cards will be playing a home game, hosting a district opener. That news is yet to be released, but likely the scenario as the Cards close out the 2020 regular season undefeated, 37-6, the final from Lapeer, Michigan. For Mason Polmantier and our entire DTV crew who was here at the ballgame running social media, running cameras, running the computer as well, and then back at our studio in nice warm Davison High School. Chris Jarrett signing off from Lapeer, thanking you for tuning in to Cardinal football. Those Davison Cardinals undefeated heading to the district opening round. Thank you so much for listening, Cardinal fans. We'll talk to you next week. And as always, go Cards.